All right, thanks, guys. We're following two big breaking stories live at 5. A man is awake and breathing after his semi-truck burst into flames at the I-70 I-465 interchange on the east side.
And Metro Police are searching for a shooter in downtown Indianapolis. We can tell you right now, one person is dead, and this is affecting the evening commute. Fox 59's Aaron Cantrell joins us live right now from the scene. And Aaron, what can you tell us about what you're finding out this evening?
Well, I-70 eastbound, it is actually still closed, but westbound, it's open, but traffic is a problem. But we do know that driver is in critical condition. But I'm gonna step out of the way and kind of show you that the crews are still here on scene trying to inspect the bridge, clean up all that fuel that spilled. Now, the fire broke out around 2 this afternoon, and it could be seen from miles away. You probably saw it from where you were. Now, 500 feet of the area was impacted by the blaze. 4,000 gallons of jet fuel leaked out. Fire crews say when the semi turned over, the driver got out, checked on the tank, and then a small fire happened and it exploded. The driver came down the hill on fire near the interstate, and bystanders helped put him out. And then state police arrived and treated him until IEMS could arrive. Now, it took fire crews about 40 minutes to put out the blaze. Now, hazmat team is on scene. State police is here controlling traffic, NDOT and the Board of Health to help contain the jet fuel. Now, the fire department says having enough access to water was the most difficult part about this blaze. And like I mentioned earlier, that bridge is being inspected.
At the end of the day, it may not be very significant, but again, they're checking all underneath of it, on top of it, all the way around it, just to make sure, because when the fuel leaked out and caught fire, it extended across the entire bridge.
Now, the cause of this crash is under investigation. They're trying to figure out why this tank exploded and why that driver did tip over. But as I mentioned earlier, I-70 westbound is back open, but eastbound is closed. So if you are about to head out or if you're heading this way, expect to wait in traffic. But for now, reporting live, Aaron Cantrell, back to you.
Wow, what a scene. Aaron, thanks so much. We're also following another breaking story right now. A person killed in a shooting in downtown Indy. Jesse Wells joins us live with more. Jesse?
Well, this case remains a very active investigation. Police say they were called to the parking garage here behind me. It's difficult to see through all the traffic, but they were called about 3 o'clock this afternoon on a report of a person down. When officers arrived, they found an adult male who had been shot. That victim was then rushed to a local hospital where he died from his injuries. The shooting happened in the parking garage attached to the north side of Circle Center Mall between Illinois and Meridian. Right now, it's still too early to have an identity, of course, on the victim, and there is no motive yet for the shooting. However, police do think this appears to be an isolated incident between two people. Homicides, of course, are rare in downtown, and police know this area is usually safe, but no place is immune to violence.
We believe this to be a targeted incident right now. And what we can say about that is that targeted gun violence can happen anywhere. But right now we just encourage anyone with any information, anyone with any leads, any kind of assistance to give us a call at the homicide office.
Right now, police do not have any suspect information to release, and no one has yet been taken into custody. There does appear to be surveillance cameras, of course, in this area, and police hope that will help them make an arrest eventually in this case. But of course, right now, it's still early in the investigation. For now, reporting live downtown, Jesse Wells. Back to you.
And right in the heart of downtown Indy there today. Jesse, thank you. Stick with Fox 59 for further updates on both these breaking stories on air and online. Also developing tonight, 2 of the suspects in a quadruple murder face a judge for the first time today.
You see 2 of them right there, Cameron Banks, Desmond Banks, Rajesh Anderson, LaShawn Watkins, each facing 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felony murder, and 4 counts of robbery.
All are charged with killing 4 young people at an apartment complex on Shady Oak Drive earlier this month.
Now, police believe the teenagers wanted to rob the victims who were playing a game of dice. The suspects are set to stand trial in April. Each murder charge carries a potential sentence of 65 years in prison.
This is tough, but I have prepared myself for this.
You are looking at the strength of a mother. That's Kimberly Roberts. She laid her son Jalen Roberts to rest today. Jalen's body laid alongside Marcel Wills. Both teens were killed during that quadruple homicide. We just showed you the suspects. They were killed earlier this month. Kimberly asked Fox 59 to be at the funeral services today because she wants everyone watching to better understand the pain that victims' families go through. She and others want to spread hope for the future by reminding all of us, if you have another day to live, you have another chance to make great decisions.
What God created, when He created you, He created something that had purpose and destiny. He created something that had something in it that said that what I put in you can't nobody else do but you.
Just part of the powerful message today. Tonight on Fox 59, you don't want to miss it. You will hear more from Kimberly's memories of her son and the hope she has for all of us. Kamari Hunt and Braxton Ford will also be laid to rest this week.
Let's take you back right now to the scene of that breaking story on the east side of Indianapolis. We told you about at the top of the hour, a semi driver injured after his truck burst into flames at the intersection of I-70 and I-465. We showed you that video before, just a horrific scene as the truck burst into flames. These are the live pictures. The fire, for the most part, out. Traffic still moving slowly in some areas, while others are now moving past the scene all right.
Yeah, as you can see, response crews still there. The cleanup process underway, as Dan just said. The cleanup from this fire is now affecting, like we said, the evening commute. We are working to get an update for you on the driver's condition. A lot of people concerned about the driver involved in this. Make sure you do stay with Fox 59 for further updates on air and online. We are continuously checking in to get you new information. Now,
you may remember Fox 59 covered another semi-truck explosion more than a decade ago at the intersection of I-69 and 465.
You're looking here at video of that incident. In that case, a semi pulling a propane tank rolled over, causing a huge explosion. You can see there the smoke could be seen from miles away. Amazingly, in this case, the driver escaped serious injury after getting pulled from his truck by strangers who were just in the area. That person has been identified as 73-year-old Ronald Tobias from Syracuse. Only one other driver following behind the truck was hospitalized with minor injuries. Of course, we'll continue to update you on this active case as well as we continue to get more information. Stay with Fox 59 for updates both on air and online at fox59.com.
All right, from the traffic situation, now let's check our weather. Enjoying some dry time today, but it's definitely a bit chilly this evening.
Yes, we can feel the chill in the air. You are looking at live pictures right now. This is our tower cam in downtown Indianapolis.
Let's get an update on the evening ahead from Chief Meteorologist Brian Wilkes.
Yeah, going to continue to see the temperatures drop as we reinforce the chill. An Arctic front passed early this morning, and for only the third time this entire month, the afternoon temperature did not go above the 32-degree mark. We are bringing in the drier air, very similar to last week, but perhaps less intense as the cold weather that we had last week. Remember, we went down to below zero numbers, outlying areas for Valentine's Day morning. We're going to drop the temperature down into the single digits in many locations by daybreak. These clouds are beginning to break up. They're beginning to flatten down, and we're beginning to see the sun brighten up the western horizon just before sunset. So our cameras are pretty, not as much sun as yesterday, and a good 10 to 12 degrees colder than we were 24 hours ago. Occasionally a flurry has passed by, but those are dissipating, so are the clouds, and our temperatures have decreased by 1 degree within the last hour. 14 is the wind, and out of the north is the direction. That's producing a wind chill in the high teens, so it feels a good 20 plus degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago. An impressive chill for this time of the year, considering we're lacking snow on the ground. Numbers will get down to about 10 above, outlying areas single digits, but it's going to be a quick temperature turnaround. I'll show you when we'll be back into 50-degree high temperatures, plus a threat for snow in my forecast.
All right, a mixed bag there. We'll look forward to that, Brian. Thank you. A close-knit community now mourning the lives of 9 people.
Up next, the motive behind a man's deadly attack on a bar.
Plus, additional information this evening. Jurors ask the court for more evidence in Harvey Weinstein's trial. The questions they are asking as they work on an issue with a decision.
And a major merger. Morgan Stanley agrees to buy E-Trade. We'll tell you what this blockbuster deal could mean for your money.
A Fox 59 crime tracker alert right now. These 2 men are facing federal gun charges after a raid in Indianapolis. Police arrested Jeremiah Moore and Dorian Hayden last week during a traffic stop. Well, detectives reportedly found a gun, cash, 3.5 pounds of meth, several ounces of heroin, and marijuana. Both men had outstanding warrants. They each face a long list of charges. Another man was also arrested.
Well, tonight, the Marion County Sheriff tells us he will accept federal prisoners in his jail.
This after Mayor Hogsett just announced new strategies to keep violent offenders off our streets.
Fox 59's Kelly Rinke shows us why he is supporting that action now. Kelly?
Dan and Fanchon, depending on the month, there has been anywhere from 9 to 110 federal prisoners in the Marion County Jail. This strategy could mean more work for the department, but the sheriff says he's not too concerned.
Harsher penalties for trigger pullers, a new push from the city to allow gun cases to be prosecuted at the federal level.
I think it's an effective tool that the federal government has used before, and I think people realize they need to not have a gun when they're involved in the crime.
Sheriff Kerry Forrestal getting behind the strategy announced by local and federal leaders yesterday, which recommends prison time for people in possession of an illegal gun. Up until last month, the Marion County Jail was contracted to keep 90 beds available for the federal government. It expired, yet Forrestal tells us the U.S. Marshal is still interested in keeping those prisoners here.
We shouldn't, in one way, say we don't have room after we decide to ask them to help us by adding additional charges.
Forrestal says the inmate population has declined to its lowest number in years. As long as the jail has space, Forrestal says they can house these federal prisoners.
But if we're asking them to increase the prosecution, we should be willing to take like number of prisoners in this jail.
And as for the cost of housing these prisoners, Sheriff Forrestal tells me that the federal government actually contributes to keep those costs down.
So how do federal attorneys work to secure these convictions in the first place? Is there a specific process they use?
Yes, so yesterday the U.S. District Attorney Josh Minkler told us his office uses 3 different tools when it comes to federal gun crime cases. This was all laid out in a press conference yesterday. But just to refresh, the first is a pretrial detention. If the attorney proves the suspect is a danger to the community, they will be held without bond. Second, in federal cases, an attorney will push to make sure a gun crime is not reduced to a non-gun crime, essentially forcing them to go on trial to plead guilty to the charge. Finally, they use sentencing guidelines, which allows them to push for prison time only. Here's part of what he told us yesterday.
96% of the people that have been charged with federal gun crimes have been convicted. 90% of the people who have been charged with federal gun crimes have gone to federal prison.
And he went on to say he hopes to use these tools more frequently when they prosecute these types of cases.
Wow, pretty comprehensive. We know you'll be watching to see how they implement these new guidelines.
Yeah, it will be
Kelly.
interesting to see how it goes in the future.
All right,
Thank you.
Kelly, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Also developing right now, we just confirmed FBI agents raided this home in Carmel today. You're looking at video from the scene on Manfield Place. Carmel police assisted with that investigation. Our records show the person living here had prior charges in a fraud case, several fraud cases that case was dismissed last year. Of course, we will keep you posted as soon as we get more information on what all was involved here.
All right, let's take another live look now as the cleanup continues from that semi-truck fire at I-465 and I-70. Kind of hard to see from this image as they move the camera around a little bit, but there is a fire truck still there on scene. That's behind that graphic. There it is. This is the story that we covered at the top of the hour. What was a huge fire there today at 465 and I-70.
Yeah, we're continuing to keep an eye on this cleanup. Of course, we are right smack dab in the middle of the evening rush. So as new information comes in, as traffic patterns begin to change, we of course will keep you updated once that interchange is completely open again, too.
All right, let's turn to Chief Meteorologist Brian Wilkes now for a check of our Weather Authority forecast on a day that was a little cloudy or a little cooler than it's been.
Yeah, a little bit of sunshine, though. We'll take that.
Here and there,
but
right?
we are looking forward to that 50 you keep talking about, Brian.
Yeah, they're coming. It's going to be a quick temperature turnaround, much like what we did last weekend. Remember, we got into Valentine's Day Friday morning with many areas below 0. We're going to get into the single digits for many locations come early tomorrow morning, and we are seeing a little bit more in the way of daylight here, a little more sunshine as the afternoon has progressed. We expected it to be about 10 degrees colder than yesterday. Spot on. We had more clouds than yesterday, and we are going to see clearing and colder temperatures tonight. but as we check our cameras, we are seeing these clouds begin to become a little flatter and begin to dissipate, all a signal that the sun's strength that was ongoing earlier today is beginning to ease up, and the skies are beginning to clear out as those north winds transport the drier and colder air in. Check out the dew point. That signals this has its origins from the Arctic regions of the planet. Very cold air coming in, and once that sun sets and the skies clear out, the temperatures are due to drop rather quickly. Had occasionally a passing flurry from time to time. The front passed early this morning, so there are the numbers. We hit 32 officially at the airport, so it's only the third time this entire month of February that we've had an afternoon not to go above the freezing mark. In fact, most locations are still in the area 20s, high 20s mainly, 31 in Bloomington, 28 in Muncie. You factor in the wind and you've got a temperature that feels as much as 25 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago. There's the wind chill, only 14 in Columbus, 17 right now in Lafayette. High pressure in control. Front has moved south, but quiet weather to our west. More wintry weather in parts of the nation that you wouldn't typically find it, but they're under winter storm warnings for much of North Carolina, where as much as 3 to 4 inches of snow could be laid down. They're going to wind up having more snow in, say, Charlotte than we've had for the entire month of, say, February and January. That's a pretty impressive tally for them and a real signal of how really tame this winter has been so far this season. And as quickly as the Arctic air hits, and this has been ongoing, I believe we've had 5 nights that we've gone below 10 degrees. That's it. Typically, we see about 12. We've got a big temperature turnaround in the works. The temperatures are certainly chilly, but already southerly winds are set to transport milder air in and say so long to the shot of Arctic air. There's plenty of it. It just hasn't been tapped into rather frequently. And as we look ahead, we clear the skies tonight. We've got abundant sunshine. In fact, 100% sunny skies here for Friday and Saturday. But the transition to a colder weather pattern and perhaps a more wintry one is definitely in the works here for next week. As we first forecast, we've been keeping an eye on that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday time frame of next week. There is smoke, there's usually fire, and there's a significant indication that we will potentially see some snow around here and colder temperatures and an overall weather pattern that may be shifting to a chillier stretch. Well, it's cold tonight. We're clearing out with a low of 9 above, but a temperature rebound is already in the works for tomorrow. We get back to sunshine after a frigid start, 37 for a high and a wind that's turning southwest that will increase and bring the temperatures up, cracking the 50-degree mark over the weekend. And holding back the rain now, our updated forecast shows that the skies will stay sunny early Sunday, increase with a chance for rain late, so the weekend right now is shaping up to be dry. Changes next week, though, with rain showers Monday could mix with wet snow Monday evening. Tuesday, rain and wet snow, but it's snow on Wednesday, and it may stick, and then colder air to follow. Stay tuned. Things could get a little more interesting winter weather-wise next week.
All right, Brian, thank you. German Chancellor Angela Merkel says the suspected gunmen in attacks on bars appeared to have acted out of right-wing extremist, racist motives. That is the word this evening. The suspect killed 9 people at 2 shisha bars in immigrant areas of a city near Frankfurt last night. The gunman and his mother were found dead in his apartment today.
Well, developing now, 2 passengers on a quarantined cruise ship in Japan have died from the coronavirus. Both were in their 80s. They died in the hospital. The Diamond Princess has been quarantined since February 3rd. The United States has already brought home more than 300 people home from that cruise ship. A number of them are now being treated in facilities all across the country.
A Fox 59 update now. A judge sentenced President Donald Trump's longtime associate Roger Stone to 3 years and 4 months in jail today in accordance with the Department of Justice sentencing guidelines. Stone was charged in the special counsel's Russia investigation on charges of lying to Congress. Prosecutors had recommended 7 to 9 years in prison for Stone. President Trump reacted to the memo on Twitter, calling it harsh and partisan. The judge is now considering a request from Stone's lawyers for a new trial after it came to light the lead juror posted anti-Trump tweets and may have been impartial. The other day, the president said he had not given any thought to whether or not he would pardon Stone. Well, 2 companies now issuing 2 separate recalls.
Yeah, next, the food and drink items that could be hazardous to your health.
Plus, caught with pot. Federal agents find a former Colts player with 157 pounds of it. Coming up next, why only 2 of 3 people are facing charges.
And could lobster blood help you live longer? Tonight, why some people believe it could be the key to curing a deadly disease. Tonight, a Fox 59 consumer alerts close to 6 million children's water bottles being recalled because they could pose a choking hazard. The recall involves Contigo Kids cleanable water bottles and their replacement lids. The affected bottles have a black spout base and a black spout cover. According to consumer safety regulators, the silicone spout can detach and potentially lead to choking. So you're advised to stop using those bottles if you have them right away. Fort Wayne-based Saratoga Potato Chips recalling 140 cases of Kroger sweet and mesquite barbecue chips. The 17-ounce bags have a best if used by date of May 12th with a timestamp of 1850 to 2055. The chips are being recalled because some of the brand's cheddar cheese chips got mixed in. They contain milk and could be dangerous if eaten by people with a milk allergy.
Well, have you heard this? Investment banking company Morgan Stanley is buying online broker E-Trade for $13 billion. Now, that news sent shares of E-Trade up. Morgan Stanley's stock price dropped more than 5%. The deal comes just months after E-Trade competitors Charles Schwab and TD Ameritrade announced their $26 billion merger. Financial experts believe Morgan Stanley's move to buy E-Trade is a clear sign that the investment bank is working towards catering to everyday consumers.
Well, a bill that would allow you to buy insulin without a prescription is now headed to Governor Holcomb's desk. The Indiana House passed that bill unanimously. We reached out to the governor's office today. A spokesperson tells us the governor is reviewing all of the items on the agenda this session. We'll let you know if and when he signs that bill into law.
Teaming up, local police partner to solve crimes across county lines.
Next, the information they're sharing with each other to track down suspects. And life after Earth. See how some bright minds are working to try and make a place for space travelers to live and fighting crime in our city. It's all straight ahead, live at 5. Well, tonight we continue to follow a couple of breaking stories live at 5. A man is injured after his semi-truck bursts into flames. You're seeing that dramatic video today at the I-70, I-465 interchange.
Yeah, that big plume of black smoke and fire. Fox 59, a viewer actually catching that explosion on camera just as it happened. Now that video, yeah, truly difficult to watch.
Yeah, quite a scene there today. We've been working this breaking news ever since it happened earlier this afternoon. As you see in the video, the smoke could be seen for miles today.
And as you can imagine, the cleanup is going to be extensive. Fox 59's Aaron Cantrell now live on the scene. Aaron, we see the workers behind you and we know they're still cleaning up. How is the evening rush right now?
Well, right now, as you can imagine, if you're going eastbound on I-70, you will be in traffic, but westbound is open, but crews are working as hard as they can to get it back open. I'm going to take a step out of the scene, but you can see that they're working very hard. Now, like you mentioned earlier, that driver is in critical condition. Now, the fire broke out around 2 this afternoon. You could probably see it from miles away. Now, 500 feet of the area was impacted by the blaze. About 4,000 gallons of jet fuel leaked out, fire crews say, when the semi turned over. The driver got out and checked on the tank, and then a small fire happened and then it exploded. That driver caught fire and ran down the hill, and thankfully bystanders were there to put him out. State police arrived and treated him until IEMS arrived and took him to the hospital. Now, right now, a hazmat team is on scene. State police is here controlling traffic. NDOT and the Board of Health to help contain that jet fuel spill. The fire department says having enough access to the water was the most difficult part about the blaze, but they were able to put it out again in about 40 minutes. Now, right now, that bridge is being inspected to see if there was any damage caused to it. There may not be any damage, but right now they're looking to see if there is any damage, so they cannot open the bridge until they inspect it and make sure it is safe for drivers. But we'll continue to be out here, but if you're heading this way, make sure you are prepared to be in traffic or find an alternative route. But for now, reporting live, Aaron Cantrell, Fox 59 News.
Aaron, thank you. We are, of course, going to continue to work this story and update you as we get new information. You can see more video from the scene on our website, fox59.com. And be sure, and we will be sure to post more updates for you as we get them too. Also, back to this breaking news story still developing right now. A man is shot and killed in a downtown parking garage. This is the scene, a live look at the scene at West Maryland Street, right near the Circle Center Mall. We also know at this hour there is no motive being reported for the shooting, but police believe it appears to be an isolated incident between two people. Again, we're continuing to work this story. As we get new information, we will pass it along.
Right in the heart of downtown Indy today, that parking garage for the mall. Partnering with other agencies to gain better convictions. That is the goal of the Indianapolis Violence Reduction Partnership. It's also known as IVRP.
Our Darius Johnson is talking to investigators from the departments involved to find out how they're going to track down the criminals.
Crime's not jurisdictional. It goes everywhere. It can go throughout the state, throughout the country.
Which is why the Indianapolis Violence Reduction Partnership is a key element for those looking to arrest and convict violent offenders in Indiana.
Their criminals are our criminals. We're just on the same page now and trying to help with something that's greater than us.
Through IVRP, many departments are meeting every 2 weeks from Gary to Greenfield. They share investigative information about high-profile cases.
We have a suspect. We may know a name.
That this individual's wanted. We believe he may be in this geographic location. He may be connected with this individual.
Along with mugshots, last known location, crime patterns, and even license plates. An officer or jurisdiction is then assigned to assist in the search. Most recently, IMPD connected with Carmel PD, where Lieutenant Brian Gable provided some additional resources.
I was able to utilize a fugitive tracking team that we had that had familiarity with this individual and had various techniques to track this individual, and also partnered with the U.S. Marshals. Within 48 hours, the individual was in custody.
Last fall, officers left a meeting learning about Richard Garrett III, not knowing he'd be involved in a police chase with Fishers PD, resulting in the death of their canine.
We immediately got resources and help from IMPD. When we came up the next day, we knew that he was maybe someone that was wanted in many more crimes.
The system also worked in Greenfield last September, where a rash of car break-ins and thefts were caught on camera.
During that time, we were able to work with them, get a search warrant, go hit a house on the west side, where we recovered multiple stolen guns, stolen vehicles, and other stolen property from the surrounding agencies.
In 2019, IVRP focused on 219 people, resulting in 101 arrests, including those in Carmel, Fishers, and Greenfield.
If we all get on the same page and we all do that, then I think that we can have an answer to what's going on around us, to the violence around us.
Darius Johnson, Fox 59 News.
IMPD hopes to continue partnering with other local agencies across the state. Well, Fox 59 update right now, we know the name of a 31-year-old man who was shot to death Sunday on the city's northeast side. The Marion County coroner just identified him as Khalil Anderson Al-Atabki. His death is under investigation as a homicide this evening. If you know anything about what happened to him or who's responsible, please call police. Tomorrow, protesters are expected to gather outside the City County building for a peaceful event to denounce violence across Indianapolis.
The State Health Department just announced a 6th person in Indiana has died from vaping. Health officials started investigating severe lung injuries tied to vaping last August. So far, there are 60 confirmed cases of a lung injury tied to vaping statewide. Right now, let's talk about our weather. This dry time, just what we needed for the week.
Right on time, and overall temperatures really aren't too bad. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist and your weather authority, Brian Wilkes. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, it certainly could be a lot worse, but it certainly is a dip in the temperatures too. Hi, Fanchon and Dan, and good afternoon, everyone. We've made the turn towards the latter part of the work week, and we've reinforced the chill on a north wind. That wind chill is only in the teens. It's a colder afternoon. Feels about 25 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago, but we are seeing the sunshine begin to emerge again. We've had intervals of clouds and sunshine, even a few passing flurries, but brighter days are ahead. Look at the skies here from Montgomery County looking off to the west. Skies are going to continue to clear tonight. The winds will grow lighter, and we're on our way once again to a very cold night, likely to get down to around 10 above. Some areas, many areas, may be in the single digits by daybreak early Friday morning, as Arctic high pressure will be camped out overhead. We're not even above freezing in many locations. In fact, 30 in Indianapolis, 31 Bloomington. Wind chill, it's only 20. So we're down about 20, 25 degrees colder, at least that's what it feels compared to yesterday afternoon. And we'll continue to see the temperature slide tonight with clear skies overhead. Though this is not going to be long-lived, it's a quick shot of Arctic air. That's been pretty much the story here all season long. We reinforce the cold for now, but the temperatures turn around quickly. In fact, the rebound begins tomorrow. And wait till you see the weekend. We've updated the weekend forecast. We're holding back on the rain chances and bumping up the temperatures. Who's ready for 50 degrees? I am. I'm sure you are too.
Me too. All right, thanks, Brian. Just into the Fox 59 newsroom tonight, 2 people arrested after a bank is robbed in Carmel. We've just learned one of them has been linked to several other recent robberies. 25-year-old James Taylor is now in custody tonight, linked to today's robbery at a Lake City bank this afternoon and recent robberies at another bank and a pharmaceutical business. We don't have any information on the other suspect who was arrested.
Well, former Colts wide receiver Jaquan Bray is one of 2 men now facing charges after police reportedly found them with 157 pounds of marijuana. The other man who you see here is Cleveland Browns offensive tackle Greg Robinson, a former first-round pick. Federal agents reported finding duffel bags filled with marijuana at a checkpoint station in Texas. Robinson reportedly offered to pay a third person in the car to take the fall for the marijuana. And once again, that is Quan Bray, former Indianapolis Colts wide receiver Quan Bray, one of those 2 men facing charges after police found them with marijuana.
Well, the search for a hit-and-run suspect comes to a tragic end.
Next, the location the suspect drove to while the victim's body was still in the car.
Plus, inside access. Parents, you'll soon have greater control over one app your children may use. Tonight, we'll show you some of the new safety features.
And a new look NFL. Team owners considering a serious expansion. How it could protect players and make the playoffs, well, a little more interesting, that's for sure.
I'm Jesse Wells. Nearly a dozen car windows are busted out on one Indianapolis street overnight. I'll have details and reaction to that vandalism.
Police in Austin, Texas have charged a man with drunk driving, manslaughter, and failing to stop at the scene of an accident. It happened Saturday. They say Paul Garcia Jr. hit a pedestrian with a shopping cart who crashed through his windshield and landed in his front seat. But he kept driving. Police arrested Garcia shortly after while he was walking into a bar. The victim's body was still in the car.
Well, jury deliberations continue in Harvey Weinstein's sex crimes trial in New York. So far, jurors have asked the court for additional information 5 times. They've requested legal definitions of the charges, copies of emails between the accusers and Weinstein, and blueprints of his apartment. He is facing 5 counts, including predatory sexual assault. He argues the encounters were consensual.
New information now about the breaking news we brought you at the top of the hour. IFD tells Fox 59 4,000 gallons of jet fuel spilled from a tanker after it turned over on the city's east side. As you see in this really frightening video, the tanker then burst into flames. You could see it for miles.
Yeah, this happened near the intersection of I-70 and I-465. We can also tell you right now, this is more new information. An Indiana man is in critical condition. That man is being treated at Eskenazi Hospital. Firefighters had the blaze under control, they say, in less than 20 minutes. But again, the man who was injured is in critical condition at Eskenazi Hospital. Cleanup is continuing at this hour. We will also continue to monitor this, and as new information comes in, we will pass it along to you. But make sure you do stay tuned. We'll have much more coverage coming up on the news at 6.
All right, also following our weather authorities forecast tonight. Not bad out there,
No,
really
but colder.
today, but colder.
Yeah. The sunshine will lure you out thinking, okay, it doesn't look too bad. We saw some
peeks
yesterday.
Out from behind the clouds a little.
But then, zip, it gets you.
It's
colder.
It kind of zaps you.
Yeah, the
Zips
wind chill.
and
It's the
zaps you,
wind chill
right? Yeah.
too, right?
That's what it is.
17 was the wind chill earlier the past hour, and that wind chill makes it feel about 25 degrees colder than it was 24 hours ago. But although you see some clouds here, you can see those rays of sun breaking through from Daniel's Vineyard this afternoon. Still a rather cloudy day, but still seeing some blue overhead. That's in Fishers, and that's the view out in Montgomery County. There are brighter days ahead. In fact, I think you're going to love the next 2 afternoons. Get ready to grab the sunglasses. You're going to need them, and likely need them right through the weekend. That's a little bit of a twist to our weekend forecast, slowing down the arrival of a cloud cover on Sunday and permitting us to enjoy more of the dry time. Likely going to get into some wet weather, and really the pattern is shaking loose and shaking free and shaking up next week. But temperatures right now may leave you a little shaky because it's 30 degrees with a north wind at 14 miles per hour and a wind chill that's at times in the teens. It's a cloudy day, and a couple of times from time to time a flurry has drifted by, but we're improving. Those clouds are slowly dissipating. Only 30 at the airport and mainly only in the mid-20s in many locations, so we're below freezing. 31 is the temperature in Bloomington. The official high hit 32 degrees today. That's only the third time this February that we've had an afternoon not go above the freezing mark. We're down 7, 8, 10 degrees from 24 hours ago, but that north wind at 14 is producing a wind chill in the teens. It's high pressure, and it is in control of our weather for the next several days. In fact, we're not looking at any real precipitation chances actually until Monday. So as that high camps out overhead tonight, the skies clear out. We're getting at least delivered much colder air behind that front. In fact, where is the winter weather? Well, it's in places that you don't typically find it. Now upgraded to winter storm warnings in eastern North Carolina and parts of southeastern Virginia. There could be as much as 3 to 4 inches of snow laid down, especially from Raleigh to Norfolk. And that's an area of the country that doesn't typically get snow. That's not a good situation for them. And what's even more interesting is that they'll get more snow out of this system than we will have had for the entire month of January and February combined. That could be changing. There certainly are some snowier days in the forecast and some colder temperatures too, but very typical of this winter. We're getting a shot of colder air, but it's short-lived. See, we've got the north winds blowing tonight. Watch how they already, as early as Friday afternoon, begin to change direction, and the motion of the atmosphere, the movement of the winds are in from the south and west. That means a warm-up is already getting underway starting tomorrow afternoon. Cold night ahead. We're at 30 degrees, and under clearing skies will drop to the single digits in many locations, but the Arctic air once again knifes into the northeastern U.S. is about ready to retreat again, but it will reload. And the changes here is that this Arctic air, which has been bottled up across the northern reaches of the planet, really hasn't come loose and come free and taken up real estate for any extended period of time, may be wavering slightly by the middle of next week. Now, overall, the trends are still for what we see to end February and to start the first days of March, a colder than normal weather pattern, a high probability for much of the nation. Will it include snow? The answer is growing to be a more affirmative and more yes for next week. We're still spying on the system. The long-range charts are hinting at a system, one a little stronger than the other. Bottom line is that we may be scraping away some snow next week. Now, tonight we'll be scraping the windshields early tomorrow morning because we dropped to a low of 9 above, but you're going to love the sunshine tomorrow. 100% sunny. After a frosty and frigid start, we rebound and go back above freezing tomorrow on a southwest wind and continue the elevation in temperatures to the 50-degree mark Saturday afternoon, and with holding off the cloud cover and rain chances Sunday, likely to reach 50 again.
Sports, major changes could be coming to the NFL postseason. A league spokesperson confirming that owners and executives are set to discuss potential terms of a new collective bargaining agreement. ESPN citing league sources to report that there's a consideration to expand the playoffs from 6 teams per conference to 7. Owners also want to increase the number of regular season games from 16 to 17 and reduce the number of preseason games from 4 to 3. We'll keep you posted to see what, if any, of this happens, perhaps even as soon as next year.
All right, here's a question you might want to ponder. Could lobster blood save your life? Well, one company believes a protein found in lobster blood may be able to cure viruses, even cancer. Lobster Unlimited just filed for a patent, in fact. The group's owner claims a fluid in lobster blood works as a stimulant for your immune system. They're now looking for a partner to develop drugs made from this compound. Currently, blood from horseshoe crabs is used to detect contamination in medical products.
Bizarre. All right. A consumer alert now for parents with teenagers. An app that's popular among older children will soon give you more control over your child's social media use. TikTok just announced a so-called family safety mode, which lets you curb your child's screen time on the platform and check their activity. You can set specific time limits and turn off direct messaging while also blocking certain content. The update is still being rolled out all across the United States.
We have much more coming up in our next hour. 4 suspects in the quadruple murder case appearing in court today. The charges these young people are now facing and new information we are learning from this case. And 2 of the young people they killed were laid to rest earlier today. The message from their loved ones and how they're trying to move past the pain. We're going to show you. And work continues on Indy's east side tonight after a huge tanker truck fire. We're going to take you back live to the scene. Finally clearing here after that truck spilled thousands of gallons of fuel. We'll show you what it looks like now, coming up new in our next hour. Well, you guys know that little face, don't you? If you watch my social media, they are part of our family, most definitely devoted to us. That's my little Ari girl. Today is National Love Your Pet Day, and I must admit, this is one spoiled little girl. She deserves it. You're looking at pictures of my sweet Ari here. As you might guess, it's easy to celebrate your pet. You can take them on an extra long walk, maybe, or maybe take a shower or shower them with some tasty treats. I thought it said take a shower with them. I do sometimes bring her in the shower when I give her a bath.
Yeah, when she needs a bath.
Yeah, so I was wondering, am I the only one that does that? Okay, well, maybe not. Or maybe you want to give your feline friend some cuddle time. And while it's easy to bestow some extra love on our companions, Thursday is also a good day to make sure their vaccines and preventative meds are up to date. That is so important. That will help them stay healthy every single day. And that's one of the best ways to take care of your fur baby. Ari's getting her teeth brushed tonight when I get home.
Does she dislike that?
I have to hide the toothbrush until I get it right up to her mouth.
Yeah, I could see that.
And then we brush her teeth.
She's got the sweetest little pup.
Oh,
she's got the sweetest disposition.
Well, she counts all you guys as her family too.
There you go. We love having her here. All right. New at 5. This is pretty incredible. In just a few years, astronauts will be returning to the moon for the first time in decades. And NASA is asking some bright minds to build places for space travelers to live on the moon and on Mars.
And that doesn't mean sending up a stack of lumber and a bucket of nails either. Reporter Joel Porter has a look at a presentation yesterday where 4 men and women showed how they would build new habitats.
Becoming a spacefaring civilization is a reality that we want to be a part of.
Michael Bentley was one of 4 team leads chosen to give a pitch in Huntsville on Wednesday evening.
We had to translate it into a language that could basically be understood by a robot and then printed at the final challenge.
His team received $500,000 for their winning proposal, nicknamed Marcia, short for Mars Habitat.
An efficient structure that uses as little material as possible, and so a cylinder is very good for that.
4 proposals were chosen among 60 teams at a competition in Illinois, challenging scientists to come up with ways to build future living quarters on the moon and Mars.
And you want all this to be economically viable, then 3D printing is your best bet.
The idea behind the missions is that the equipment and 3D printer would arrive ahead of time and get to work building the habitats, ideally finishing them by the time the astronauts showed up. Now, with the 4 presentations, they used a variety of material to build the habitats, including a polymer base, which could be a plant material. Another showcased concrete and glass. Another used a layer of regolith, which is the layer of rocks, sand, and dirt that you would find on the surface of the moon or Mars.
There's no risk, and when you have no boots on the ground, when you have no astronauts there, the habitat can take as long as it needs to actually construct.
The proposals were ordered as part of NASA's Centennial Challenge.
We're shifting our focus from Mars habitats to lunar work.
So far, NASA has awarded just over $2 million to the teams. Bentley says his team is finishing an earthly model of Marcia, known as Terra, along the Hudson River, where people can spend a night.
3 layers at the very base.
And that is how we will end Live at 5 right now. We have more breaking news on the news at 6.